My name's Meryl Prettyman. My business is Focus Pilates Classical in
Hmm.
Berlin. And yeah, I've been teaching Pilates about 25 years now,
Amazing.
with breaks in between because I'm
Hmm.
an ex-dancer and I've just been doing dance jobs, coaching jobs, choreography, coaching
Yes.
Pilates, Pilates, just
Yeah.
mixing it up. And yeah.
Nice. Black Cat Flies Hamburg is in the room too, Caroline.
Hey, Carolina.
Yes. Our German. Now, are you Brazilian as well, or is that just Brazilian dance that you do, or what's your connection there?
No, but for some reason I've been very involved because of the dance. I
Okay.
started doing Afro-Brazilian dance when I was about 18, and I haven't
Hmm.
stopped since. Been to Brazil, learned Portuguese. I'm just crazy about Portuguese language and Brazilian culture, and it's just, yeah. Maybe I was
Wow.
Brazilian in a past life,
I know
but
it.
the similarities are so.
Hmm.
There's so many similarities. North
Yes.
Americans, South Americans.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, and I was saying this the other day on a show that being from Canada, everyone is like usually second generation something. So it's not uncommon for a black person to ask another black person, where are you from? Even if you're born in
Mm.
Canada, because it's like, oh, I'm from Jamaica, I'm from Barbados, I'm from Trinidad, I'm from whatever. So, um,
Right.
yeah, so it's just interesting that there's always, yes, and we speak Brazilian too. So what is your heritage then? Like, where are you from? Not Brazil.
I'm from New York City. That's what I
All right.
always say. This
Mm-hmm.
blows, drives people crazy. Yeah, but where? So
Yes.
it's French West
Rohan, like
Indian on
Jamaican,
one side,
like, yes.
Aero, and um, yeah, then there's Irish on the other side,
Mm-hmm.
and so it's like Guadeloupe, maybe Haiti. We're not really sure.
Yes.
Ireland, and then the DNA goes back to Nigeria, Sierra Leone, and Ireland.
Yes. Yeah.
But I grew up like Caribbean family, basically, like, Upper West Side,
Yeah.
Harlem,
Hmm.
Brooklyn, Manhattan kind of lifestyle. Yeah.
Yes. Nice. My One of my clients is from Nigeria, and he looked at me one of our first sessions and was like, I can tell what part of Nigeria your family of origin is from just by looking at you. Even though my family's from Jamaica originally, like looking at that shape, structure, face, whatever it is, you can tell.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
makes sense, though, because supposedly during the slave trade, a lot of Nigerians were taken to Jamaica, the Caribbean, and to
Yes.
North America, like the southern
Right.
states. So maybe we're cousins.
Maybe. Never know. It's so funny, eh? And that's fascinating. I mean, we're here to talk flies, but not really to talk flies. We could talk wherever we want to talk. And just look at your page today. Like, I love the dance, and also martial arts, right? Like capoeira. I can't even
Mm-hmm.
say it properly. So, how did you get into that?
Well, I was teaching an Afro-Brazilian dance class here at the school. And after the class, I saw some guys coming with instruments. And I said, who are they and what are they doing?
Yeah.
So it was a change in the class schedule. And it turned out that they were doing capoeira. So the manager said, yeah, just try it. It's capoeira. And I said, yeah, I always heard about that. Of course, I'd been to Brazil.
Mhm.
But I was so busy dancing, I never did it. So yeah, sure, I'll try it. And then I tried it, and of course, as a dancer, you pick up
Yes.
the movement so quickly, and the teacher was just
Easy.
like, "Okay, do this, do
Mm.
that, do this, do
Yes.
that," and it was just a very good teacher, also, And
Yes. Yes.
so I just continued, and here I am, 10 years later, um, and I just love it. It's
Yes.
really really hard. Like I've never been so
I was
sore in
waiting for you
my
to say
life.
like fun or interesting. They just went
It's
hard.
fun. It
Yeah.
is definitely fun, but it I mean, the soreness that I felt from capoeira is nothing like I ever experienced as a dancer. Just like not
Really?
being able to walk down the stairs without like, uh, ow.
Yes.
But
It's,
makes you
yeah,
strong.
it's great. It's contagious, as Carolina says.
Yeah, it
It's
is. You
amazing.
can't stop. You just can't, like, I can't stop. And then the singing, playing the instruments from a very musical family. So it just, yeah, it was just a perfect fit. And,
Yes.
having a great master, shout out to Mestre Bailarino,
Mhm.
um, just made a big difference. So, yeah.
Yes. Now, are there like belts and grading systems in that, like in other arts, or is
Yeah.
there is?
Mm-hmm,
Okay.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
definitely. Yeah.
Nice.
They,
So,
there's must be 6 or 8, maybe 10 levels, you know. But yeah, because I guess because you have to do the music, you have to be able to play a certain way and be able to sing songs
okay.
on the rhythm, be able to do certain movements, understand how a hoda works. It's like the hoda is the circle, where you
Yes.
do the whole thing. So yeah, it's a
I gotta
great
pick that
sport.
up one day. Yeah, like it's like as soon as I said that, like you can see, like, oh, it's awesome. I love it. It's awesome. It's
Hey,
amazing. It's contagious. It's flips, jumps. Like people just, yes,
yeah, yeah. There's a lot of capoeiristas out there.
yes, yeah. I definitely gotta try that.
Yeah.
And it's so fun too. Like, I'm sure for that master, for that instructor, when you see a body walk into the room that because of flexibility or your Pilates background, your strength, your all those things that you could just jump right in and do stuff before you even understand fully what you're doing. That
Mm-hmm.
makes for a fun lesson, right? Because then you can, oh, try this. Okay, try this. Okay, now you did that. Let's see if you can get that. Oh, you can get that. Let's try. Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But you have
Yeah.
to pace yourself so you can walk the following day. That's what I didn't
Yes.
know. That's what
Yes.
I didn't realize till much too late.
Yes.
uh,
That's that's
yeah.
awesome. So then, how did you find Pilates then in the midst of all this, your dancing and whatnot?
Oh, yeah, that was an awesome story. When I was in college, and went to college at California Institute of the Arts, and so one day these two crazy looking people come into the studio and like, we're gonna teach you Pilates, and it was Diane Severino and Michael Podwell. They worked at the Ron Fletcher Studio for Body Contrology in
Yes.
West LA or North Hollywood. North
Mm.
Hollywood. So they came in and just threw the mat work at us, and
Like
I
literally
was
threw the
like,
mat
oh
work
my
at you.
God, what is this
Mm-hmm.
stuff? And, it was just hilarious. And we didn't take it seriously. I don't know, Pilates, I don't know what that is.
Yes.
2 years later, I was rehearsing for a show and I just blew my ankle and my knee out doing like this back attitude turn and went to the doctor and they're like, well, either Pilates or operation. And I said, well, I'm way
Really?
too young for an operation. And what's Pilates? And they said, you're from New York and you don't know what Pilates is? And I said, I have no idea what that is. So it turns
Wow.
out that there was a Pilates studio in Cal Arts in the basement, which I had never seen, didn't even know it was there. Well, people are always hiding Pilates.
Right.
Back then, it was like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, don't tell anyone.
Yeah.
Like
Crawl through this tunnel and go to the.
secret thing.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, so I ended up doing Pilates for 3 months until I could put weight on my leg again, and it completely changed my body. I mean, I was favoring my right side so much that the left was so weak that I
Mm.
blew my leg out, and when that happened, I was like, I gotta find Diane Severino and Michael because I want to learn this stuff. So I ended up going there and starting an apprenticeship um,
Yeah.
after I graduated. And yeah, back then there was no certification paper. This was like
Yes.
1989, you know.
Right. When was that lawsuit? Was that pre or post lawsuit? I don't know. Like, where's it landing
That's
at?
pre. That's actually pre, because I remember I used to open and close the studio on Saturdays, and a phone call came in from New York, just, and they wanted to talk to Ron, and he wasn't there.
Okay.
So yeah, Diane got on the phone and was just totally pissed off. Like, they're trying to
Wow.
copyright Pilates. What's wrong with these people? And
You're right there, eh?
yeah, I didn't know, I didn't understand. I was just like, what? Copyrighted? What? Who? Yeah. Ah. So I just kind of didn't question further because she was very, very upset.
Right.
And then it just progressed, it just
Yes.
progressed. Then, when I got to Berlin, there were no Pilates teachers. There was one. And this one woman, Galina Rollator, had machines. She had studied with Romana.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was going around town asking different dance schools if they wanted Pilates classes. And so one
Yeah.
of these schools said, what is that? We don't know what that is. I don't think people will come. We don't know what it is. And I said, well,
Mm.
dancers will know what it is. Any international dancers that come through will know. So
Yes.
they hired me. And then I went and took a class with Galina in her studio. And at the end of the lesson, she said, yeah, I heard you're teaching at the Tanzfabrik. And I thought, ooh, how do you know that? Are you like
Yes.
spying on me or something?
Mm.
She said, no, I went there and asked them if they wanted a class, and they said you were teaching it already. And I said, oh, wow,
Oh, there you
okay.
go. Yes.
Yeah. She said, I just wanted to see if you knew your stuff, and you do. So I passed the test,
Nice.
and she recommended that I do the training with Romana in New York.
Mm-hmm.
And I eventually did. So, it's kind of like started at Ron Fletcher, went to Romana,
Yes.
and because I lived here in Berlin, I was in The Hague during the winter with Marjorie and Jane and Henry. And then in the
Mm.
summer, I was in New York
Yeah.
with Michael, Tone, and Brett Howard. So,
Wow.
because I was
Okay.
working at Lion King at the time, and I didn't like, I needed more time to finish. So it took me 2 years because I
Yes.
was working as a dance coach in Hamburg at the Lion King.
Mm.
So it was quite a
Wow, no.
strenuous journey, but
But
really great. I mean, I
that
had
sounds
such
like
great
such a,
teachers.
that's what I was gonna say. It's such a rich collection of teachers.
Yeah, yeah, really lucky. Marjorie's
Wow.
amazing, Jane, all of them, Michael, Tone, Brett, like they're all so fantastic and so
Mm.
different. And they all did independent study with Romana, all around the same time. Like they all know each other.
Yes. Right.
So, yeah.
Right? Yeah, Joel has like amazing background. Now, so what's different about the way that they teach? Like if you're not that we can kind of pigeonhole everybody, but what's unique about the way that those individuals teach?
Well, it's been a while since, well, Marjorie, like she's really precise, and she's very, she's like a gentle giant, she's like,
Yes.
and you just can't cheat with her. You can't pull the wool over her eyes. Like she just got eyes like she can see in the dark. You know what I mean? She's
Yes.
just amazing. And I was so happy to watch her teach. She just has great hands-on and is just very like tough, but reasonably tough.
Hmm.
And mind you, I haven't been there since 2003 when I finished. But I will never forget her.
Wow. Yes.
she caught me. I have to make a little tell you a story about me in my 400-hour test trying to
Yes.
pull the wool over Marjorie's eyes that I've been studying. I just didn't have time. It was just too much. And so I get there, I do the whole thing, and through instinct, I did the things correctly.
Okay.
And
Yes.
Marjorie's sitting there like, you know, I think your instincts are fantastic because you're a dancer. But do you really know? Tell me the truth.
Mm.
And I couldn't lie. I said,
Busted,
Marjorie,
eh?
I said, yeah, you got me. And she's like, all right, that's it. You're going to have to repeat the test in New York with Michael and Tone. I said,
Cold. Wow.
okay, but it was good. I mean, she was right. It
Yeah.
was better that way.
Yes.
She knew. You
But
know.
like no grace, no like, okay, well, may that be a lesson to you. No,
Well,
go.
no, I mean, she was nice about it. It wasn't like, she
Yes.
was being mean, or it was just like very matter of fact, like, well, yeah, your instincts are great, but you're gonna have to repeat it. And I said, yeah, I knew you were gonna say that. It's okay,
Yes.
that's what I get for not doing my work, right?
Yes. Wow.
So,
That's good. That is good. Like, I mean, I think uh, someone was on here, Emmett was on here, he's saying that, he would say to dancers who came to his thing and basically say, like, you're not ready to teach. You're not ready to be a teacher. Just because you can dance and you can pull off the splits, because you can move, doesn't mean that you're going to be an effective teacher or that you understand the work. So that's case
mm-hmm.
in point right there. Like you can get away with it, or you can understand the system.
Exactly. Yeah, that was it.
Wow.
And she was right. When I got to New York and I had more time, like in succession, like eight weeks of
Hmm.
just being at
Immersed.
21 every day. Brett and Tone and Mike were just like, just studying with the others and,
Yes.
absorbing what they are supposed to teach us.
Good stuff.
Yeah, it was fantastic. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. Those disappointments make us so much better. Like you must have such a reverence for the work because you couldn't just slide through at the same time.
Well, yeah.
Hmm.
I mean, yeah, I've had to face my share of trying to cheat myself. Just
Hmm.
it's interesting coming from my dance perspective and shaping. It's like, oh yeah, I know how to make that shape. I just have to do
Right.
this and that and this and that. And in the middle, there's nothing going on. And
Yes.
so this is what I really learned once I got to repeat my 400, because Brett and Michael and Tone were just like, this is what you need to be doing, dancer girl, because they were all dancers. Well, Margie's a
Yes.
ex-dancer also, but the three of them were just like the dancer trio, and they
Yes.
really knew how to explain to us dancers how we should be engaging as we're moving through the work. It was
Interesting.
very
Yeah.
helpful. Yeah.
Wow. And then working with Ron Fletcher, like his name doesn't come up very often.
No, no. I mean, he was never there.
Hmm.
I was working at the studio. We talked on the phone.
Okay.
He would call in and say, hello, I heard about you, but I
Yes.
never met him personally. It was Diane and Michael who were running the studio and
Okay.
just saying, okay, you have to do this and that and this and that. And I think Ron was having his issues and his health. He had some health things going on,
Mm.
and so I never got to see him.
Oh wow.
No, that's not true. I did see him leaving once. Yes, I was coming and he was leaving. I
That's
remember
that's
he
your
had
claim
these
to fame.
sunglasses.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm.
But it's interesting because it's so
Yes.
different. The Fletcher technique was so different from what I learned from Romana. Like the
Right.
focus, the goal, just little things were very
Right.
different. Plus mirrors everywhere, the order on the wall and the ceiling.
Oh
People would
really?
come in and just work out, and you just have to keep an eye on them.
Hmm.
Like certain stars, Hollywood people would come in and work out,
Yeah.
and you weren't supposed to like touch them. You know.
Yeah. They would just walk in, do their workout,
Yeah,
and bounce.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Fascinating. No, well, that's
Yeah.
this like that semi-private type of workout we've been talking about, like Joe's gym, where people would walk in, and because they've done enough, one-on-ones, they understand the system, and basically just making sure that they're safe. If they have any questions, you're
Yeah,
available. But other than that, you just run.
I love that. I love
Yeah.
that. It happens in New York too. At 2121, there were some elderly women. They must have been about 75, 78, or something like that. Two little old ladies who would come in and do their workout, and then they would leave. And
Yeah.
certain trainers knew them because they've been coming for years, and they just
Yes.
do their thing, and they pull your leg,
Yeah. Just yell from
screaming
across the room.
across. Yeah, they were hard of hearing, so there was yelling going on. But
Wow.
yeah, it was great. Sonia.
Yes. Yeah. Now, do you run your studio like that too, like pre-COVID, where it was just like that kind of semi-private platform too? Or
No, no, because I'm small. I have a large room in my apartment, and I just keep it here. I used to have a
Mhm.
space, but close that out. And no, so I don't do that. But when I have a larger studio, I will definitely do that because,
Yes.
like, I have women who I've been teaching 13 years, another one for 8 years. They could easily come and do the workout on their own.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
so I think it's a great option if you have the
Yeah,
space for
absolutely.
it.
If you have the space.
Hmm.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm thinking about my space is small as well. But there's still ways that it can be done. But like
Hmm.
the bigger question is, how are we teaching our clients, right? Are we teaching them in a way that we're moving them towards independence with their movement, or are we teaching them in a way where they're dependent forever on us, right? So
Yeah, yeah, definitely independent. And
definitely
although they're
independent.
independent, they like being helped because they can
Yep.
sense that they might be off, and they know, oh, my scoliosis makes me do this, or you know,
Right. Yeah.
my left side, I need that left side reminder.
Yeah, absolutely. Just circling back to Fletcher for a second, though, you were saying like the way he teaches was different. So we kind of got off on a little tangent about the space itself. But what would be something different about the way that he teaches compared to the way that Romano was teaching?
Well, the percussive breathing was definitely a huge difference. This,
Okay.
you know, um, that was a really big thing that, when I got to New York and I was doing, and to The Hague, there was no percussive breathing going on. It was
Yeah.
just, be quiet, just breathe
Yes.
in and out, none of this. So that was a big adjustment. And there was a lot more using of the chest because he was a tall man. I mean,
Okay.
I just felt like doing the reformer. The reformer was very different. Like the exercise order was different, and yeah.
Yeah,
But
it's
it's such a
interesting.
long time ago. Yeah.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, I wish I could have videotaped myself back then.
Right. Yeah.
But I just remember the elephant specifically, like doing the elephant like practically in a V shape, with the chest going all the way down, and instead of a scooped back, it was a flat back.
Flat back. Yeah.
And I was like, wow, why isn't it a flat back anymore?
Hmm.
um, yeah, you
Yeah.
can pull your
Interesting.
powerhouse in a flat back or a rounded back, but rounded back is what Romano always did, and yeah, I guess
Mm.
Kathy Grant as well. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Did you ever work with Kathy Grant too, or?
No, I did not, and this is just something that I find so annoying. After all the years of dancing and taking lessons in New York, I never heard of Pilates while I was in New York, at Ailey, at Dance Theory of Harlem, at wherever.
Yes.
And then to hear that there was this African American woman at
Hmm.
teaching in Manhattan, and I thought, what? What?
Yes.
I was just so devastated. And then
Yes.
attempting to get a lesson with her was just impossible.
Really.
When I'd come home, I'd had like a certain window, and I just
Hmm.
never made it. So, yeah,
Wow. Yeah,
too
that's
bad.
it is too bad. And you know, we were saying earlier about this how secret Pilates was, or how like, for lack of a better word, in that way inaccessible. Like you don't know that was like right there in your like on your doorstep basically when you were there.
Yeah, craziness.
Yeah.
My
That's
teachers knew and they didn't tell me. Why not?
bitter. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how, my question then, Meryl, is like, how does that inform the way that you teach Pilates now? Like, I mean, like, I don't think I've met anyone that has that rich of a background of teachers that they've been with. So where does your teaching lie with all of this whole eclectic group of teachers that you've been around?
Yeah. I think I am like a very purist classical teacher for sure.
Yeah.
I am open to all kinds. I have no judgment at all.
Hmm.
But I'm really focused on the balance of the body and really working from your core and taking your time and not panicking and not muscling, not forcing, just, trying to bring it through as you walk, similarly
Yes.
to how we just walking and breathing, like,
Hmm.
okay, one goes into the next. It's a flow. It's a flow. Control and flow and go and you know,
Yeah.
um, don't let the right side do everything. You know, pull in instead of pushing out. Yeah, just I
Just
have an eagle eye.
yes, I hear it. Even just the way you said that, I can hear that you probably have taken away those like you know where people are gonna cheat and when they're gonna cheat.
Yes, I see it right away.
Yes.
It's crazy,
Yes.
but it's great. I love it. It's something that I've been obsessed with, the body and how humans move my whole life. It's just been
Yes.
doing sports, and I was running track, playing softball, paddleball, swimming, gymnastics. Just and dancing, 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 dancing. So
Yes.
I love the mechanics of human and animal movement. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what Joseph did as well.
Right.
Studied animals moving, and I just love it.
Yes. The voice of a mature teacher. I like that. Yes. Hear that.
Thank you.
Yes. There's
Yeah.
no, that's yeah, that's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. Who do you have like a favorite type of person that you like to work with, whether they're dancers or pro athletes or like you know, everyday athletes as I call them, just general population people? Is there someone that excites you to work with?
Yes. I love working with men.
You don't say.
I love working with men. It's so much fun.
Joel and I are sweating as you say that. Like I feel like you would just make us work so hard.
Yes, because you can.
Yes, because you can. Yes.
Yes.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's great fun. I love it. I love it. I mean, I like all types of people,
Of course, that's why we're here.
Some are more challenging than others. But when I have a man coming in, I'm just like, great, okay. Because
Yeah.
then I really see how it's like Joe was in there and see how he
Yes.
was, oh, this a man can do it like this. And you
Hmm.
just see it just flows in a different way. It's interesting.
Yeah,
And
it
this is
does.
what I try to tell my male clients who usually come after being coaxed by their girlfriends or wives. And then they
Yes.
show up and they're like, yeah, well, And I say, this was for men. This wasn't for us. It was for you. So you're going to
Mm.
be rocking it. And he was like, oh, they're always so surprised. Like, really? And I'm like,
Yes.
yes.
Hmm.
Soldiers. This was for soldiers and men, not, women took it over later on. But
Yeah.
originally, he was looking at you guys. And they're like,
Hmm.
oh, okay.
So do you give them like, do you throw in like a couple feel good exercises just to keep their self-esteem intact before you
Oh,
like?
always, always, yes.
Right. Yes.
Because, you know how it goes. I'm sure when you're
Yes.
training, man, you see, okay, the brawn, like the shoulders, the arms,
Yes.
and
I
in the
know. I
middle,
muscled
it's a
through everything.
little,
Yeah. I used to muscle
yeah,
through every single exercise. Like it's just your
yeah.
default, right? But
But you come from an athletic background, or
yep.
what
Yeah,
brought you to
football,
Pilates?
football.
Football,
Yeah,
American
American
football.
football. Yes. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, that's great for football players.
It is so
Yeah.
good. Yeah. Yeah. It is so good. But like like we were saying, like the analogy of a golf swing really does tie into Pilates in many ways because like I can't muscle my way through a golf swing and expect the ball to go very far,
No,
right? You need to flow with it. And there's a time when you coil and recoil and generate power and flow with it, and that's when the ball travels. And I think that's when you're talking to men with Pilates, find myself going back to that analogy. Like I can't muscle my way through the whole movement, or I'm not going to actually see any result.
no, yeah,
Yeah.
not at all. I just think of, like watching, uh, pick an animal, watch a giraffe, like that's a huge animal, and they look
Yes.
so graceful, and they're just like, just think about just flowing
Right.
and not, you don't see them like
No, it's like a
ripping the leaves off.
yeah. Think of like a Jamaican giraffe. It just kind of just chills.
Mm-hmm.
Just if there was such a thing.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
yeah, but when we were talking earlier, Meryl, we were talking about different versions of the method, and I think we landed at that, just talking about how everyone was teaching it in different ways, and then we come up with our version of the method,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like to some degree, we all do that because
Yeah.
and that's like almost like my intro a little bit, saying, well, what do we lead with? Whereas I would say Pilates is for performance, or some may say it's for whatever. Like we have our version or our quote unquote brand of Pilates that we bring and present to our client base.
Yes.
So as much as we want to say that it's authentic or it's classical or it's true to the order, by time we layer in understanding the body that's in front of us and understanding what we're thinking about, like what if I had just taken classes on breath, right? So I'm going to make everybody that I work with breathe in a different way, or I may have taken a class on muscle balance, and now I'm looking at everyone's feet to make sure, like what I mean, like we
Yeah.
layer in what we're currently learning, we layer in where the person, like, there's so many different pieces to it that helps to develop our quote unquote brand of Pilates.
Yes. Yeah. That's a huge, huge part of it. I mean, and it makes sense because some people need to lift more weights for the goals that they are setting for themselves. Other people need to really, breathe, learn how to breathe in a relaxed manner. Like,
Yes.
that's a huge issue. So it's basically, like you said, look at the body in front of you. You can see what
Mm-hmm.
they need, and they'll tell you what they need,
Yes.
and then you make your plan. You
Right.
know.
Why those hands rubbing tells the story.
Ew.
Yes.
So it's really, yeah, it's kind of like being a mad scientist. You pouring
It
in a little
is.
bit of this, a little bit of that, and then there's the emotional side too.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people are very emotional if you start touching them, or they're coming in and they start telling you their whole stuff. Like the
Yes.
trust has been built,
Right.
and they
You've
start
created a
telling you
safe
things.
place, right?
Yeah, they're totally safe and trusted space, and
Mm-hmm.
so dealing with that side of it is also something that I find I'm dealing with a lot because I studied
Yes.
movement therapy after college, and because every time I was also a personal trainer, but I do Pilates at the end. And so I'd be
Yes.
touching people and helping them stretch, and sometimes they just start crying. And I
Mm-hmm.
was just like, what do I do with this? I don't know
Right.
what happened, you
Yeah.
know. So I
Yes.
thought I need to find out what movement and emotion have to do with each other. And they are
Right.
they're very connected. And, you know, I just wanted to be able to deal with someone crying and not feel embarrassed. You know, I felt really
Yes.
uncomfortable with their emotional stuff coming out in a workout session, you know. So
Right. Yes.
in order not to make them feel ashamed, I decided to learn part of that. So that's what I put in my bag of tricks as well. I don't always need to use it, but
But yeah,
in
it's in the tool
case
belt.
it's
Yeah.
there.
Yes. Wow. So Meryl, so what would you say now, like for the person who's watching, who is just finishing your teacher training, someone, you know, who may have been in the game for like 5 years or so as a teacher, the years you've put in, the people that you've learned from all those things, what would be your words of wisdom for someone who will be considered a new teacher in this Pilates community at this time?
Well, I would just say to trust your instincts, trust yourself, and also not worry about becoming a star or comparing
Mm-hmm.
yourself to this teacher who's posing in Pilates Mag, or,
Yes.
you know, like the whole star thing. I think a lot of new teachers get kind of caught up in that.
Right.
Um, but just, you know, enjoy the work. Enjoy, you don't have to be perfect. You're
Mm-hmm.
learning forever. You're learning forever. You will not stop learning. That is part of it. You know, it's an
Yes.
exchange. And
Yes.
everybody's different. You'll learn a different thing from a different person. And also keep training yourself. Don't think
Mm-hmm.
that you don't need to continue to educate yourself, because the more you have in your bag of tricks, the better.
Yes. Yes.
So, yeah.
Absolutely. Caroline is asking there how the Black community is and Pilates community is in Berlin.
Hmm.
Yes.
What Black community? Pilates.
It's like we just talked
What?
to the Black community for 15
I no.
minutes. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm the oldest one. That's for sure. I'm the first one,
Hmm.
for sure. Black woman, Black person teaching Pilates in Berlin. But I know two other women. No, there's Juliana in Hamburg. Well, Carolina knows Juliana. But in
Hmm.
Berlin, it's just me, Rebecca, and Elizabeth,
Hmm.
who we we know each other, but we're not like meeting up and, you know, doing a Black Pilates in Berlin kind of a thing, which I've been considering.
Okay.
You
Yeah.
know, I have been considering that because it is a very predominantly white world, especially in Germany in Pilates.
Yes.
Like,
Right. Right.
I went to the Pilates convention in 2009, and I was the me and Juliana were the only two Black women, Black
Right.
people.
Hmm.
Um, Jean-Claude may have been there, but in terms of, yeah, that was like a shock
Right.
compared to New York. I was just like, whoa.
Right.
But
Yes.
yeah,
And yeah, and she's asking there any Black clients. Like it's, you know,
any Black clients? No. Mm-mm. I try and I try and I offer and I offer, and so far, the only Black clients that I've had were my friend who became a Pilates teacher, who is a Pilates teacher here, Rebecca.
right.
So,
So she became
yeah,
one?
yes, she did
Yeah.
Power Pilates in Hamburg, but she lives
Yes.
here in Berlin, and so I trained her. Actually, I trained a couple of dancer friends of mine here, who are women of color, but it's and that's the thing that is kind of, you know, annoying me. Like, I want to be able for everyone
Yes.
to enjoy Pilates. It shouldn't be this exclusive, expensive thing.
Right.
Um, and people have their lives, you know. I know in the Black community, I'm offering on different, you know, community groups online, but so far,
Don't see the value.
yeah, I guess not.
Not the
So
cost, the value. Like people
the
just don't see
value,
the value.
yes, it's really troublesome at times, because I see like, okay, there's beauty and fashion and this and that, and all these wonderful groups of sisters and brothers getting together for all that, and I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, but what about health, you know and nutrition and health, like really keeping your
Right.
body healthy, really being able to
Hmm.
learn more and connect with your body through Pilates.
Right.
But
Right.
it's I haven't given up yet.
No, don't give up on
Yeah.
it. It's I was reading I'm a bit of a car guy, a big car guy. And I
Uh-huh.
was reading in Road and Track this month, Lewis Hamilton, there's a little comment on him and his training regimen, his diet, and saying how he is this prototypical race guy compared to 40 years ago. They smoked, drank, and just had sex all day. And then now you get this sense of people taking care of their body. And there's this one little line there. They mentioned Angela Cullen, who is his personal advisor slash physical trainer slash personal trainer slash whatever. And in his last line, he says that he does Pilates because it helps with the muscles you see and the muscles you don't see.
Yeah. Yeah. I
And that
do.
was like layman's terms for Pilates. So Lewis Hamilton saying Pilates helps the muscles you see and with the muscles you don't see. And Angela Cullen introduced him to Pilates. So it's
Awesome.
yeah, one, I thought it was awesome. And two, we hear LeBron James does Pilates, and then there's all these big pictures of him doing stuff like that. Like this was like one sentence in a car magazine that came to my house. So it's
Mm-hmm.
not like it's out there huge public knowledge that people are doing it. So you never know how many people are doing and taking value. And much like was said yesterday, they're doing it invisible. They're doing it in the dark. They're doing it like not for fanfare. They're just out there
Right.
doing it, right? So
It's the secret
um,
sauce.
it's a secret sauce, and some people want to keep their secret sauce secret. I don't want
Yeah, yeah,
like
they
Lewis
don't
Hamilton
want to
doesn't want people to
tell.
come up and winning more races than him, so let's keep that quiet.
Right? I
Yeah.
love I love Hamilton. He's so fantastic.
Hmm.
Yeah. No, it's true. And this is something that I would just love to work with, professional athletes. Like it's just that's what I hope I can do someday, because it just helps them so much, and they
It does.
react so quickly and they improve. It's just like incredible.
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I'm sure you've seen that. Do you have some athlete
Yeah,
clients?
from time to time. Like I've worked with, I'm in Mississauga, Ontario, which is the Toronto Raptors farm team is in Mississauga. So
Mm-hmm.
I've worked with the farm team in the past, and like I think it's the same thing where I'd love to work with some of these pro guys and not necessarily do it to say like, look, Martin works with this pro athlete. I'd much rather keep it quiet and give that one athlete that competitive advantage and it not be
Exactly.
broadcasted. But like, he gives
Mm-hmm.
credit for Pilates, but like no one knows who teaches him and where he does it and stuff. Like I'm fine to be
Mm-hmm.
in the background that way, but be the person who is that game changer for one athlete or two athletes or a team or whatever. So I love
Yeah.
that competitive advantage. Like how do we give people that and not, make it their
Yeah,
secret
it's
sauce at the same
interesting.
time?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's interesting because I've seen photos of LeBron on a reformer,
Hmm.
photos of Cristiano Ronaldo, David
Yes.
Beckham.
Yeah.
Who's photographing them? Like, how
That's the
did they
question.
learn their order? Who's teaching them their order? This is what I want
Yeah.
to know. They have a reformer, but who's teaching them? Hmm.
Yes, those are the questions.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Sylvester Stallone's daughter is a Pilates instructor, right? So there's pictures
Really?
of, oh yes, yeah, there's pictures of him
Oh,
and
cool.
there's a video somewhere of him where he's just huffing and just drip sweat and he's like, Pilates is no joke. Like he's like, and his daughter just crushed
Right.
him in a workout. So yeah, so she's
Right.
somewhere out there.
Dying.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's
So
awesome. Great.
yeah, so it's fun. It's out there. So, and I'm surprised that you're not working with more of those athletes with your knowledge base and your and being there in Germany. I'm sure there's football clubs that are just missing out on, like, you know what's going to happen? Some athlete is going to retire and then find you after their career and kick themselves for, no pun intended, for not finding you while they were a pro. That's going to
From your
happen.
lips to God's ears.
Yes.
Yeah, that would be great. Well,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
No,
so
I've
funny.
just been teaching, corporate people, business people.
Hmm.
Um, Actually, I had a tennis player and a violinist, a couple of musicians, bass player,
Yeah,
people who
yeah.
are so one-sided.
You're right.
It's great for
Yeah.
them. It's fantastic for them.
So
I've had
good
a
for
lot
them.
of
Yeah.
musicians, actually,
Yeah.
professional musicians. So, it's just good for everyone, no
Absolutely.
matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We could totally end on that. It is just good for everyone.
Yes.
It's such a good chat. It's 11 o'clock. It's crazy how fast that goes.
Oh, yes. Already five. All right.
And oh yes,
Thanks
5 o'clock.
for asking me again, Martin. I love what you do. I don't remember how I suddenly just found you and was like, oh, live, pop up, check it out.
There you go.
Yeah, it's cool. I really enjoy it because it happens during my break. People
Hmm.
in the morning, people in the evening, and I get to listen to you in the afternoon. So it's just
Perfect.
fab. Keep going.
Thank you very much. Thanks for your support. I definitely want to follow you and maybe at some point take a class with you if I can muster up the courage and
Ah, come on, of course.
maybe Joel and I, you could do a group class with Joel and I, and you could just get two strong guys in there huffing and
Oh,
sweating.
yeah, that'd be fun.
Yes. So we'll see if we can
Yes,
coordinate
let's
that.
go.
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
All
Thank
right
you so
then.
much for your time. I really,
Thank
really
you
enjoyed the
too.
chat today. All right. And
Me
thank you to
too. Have a great
everybody
day.
who is, thanks to everyone who is in the comments section. Really appreciate you cheering us on. And we are out. Have a great day, Meryl.
You too. Ciao,
All
ciao.
right.